Our top story this hour. Saudi Arabia has hosted an Islamic counter-terrorism summit, which is already being described as a meeting of an Arab NATO. It was opened by the Saudi Crown Prince, who underlined what he sees as the importance of the alliance.
For the last few years, terrorism was at large in all our countries. And most of these groups have been working in several countries at a time, without there being a strong coordination between Muslim countries. But now we have this alliance.
Well, the coalition does consist of 41 states and is aimed at uniting them in fighting terrorism in Arab countries. However, all the members have Sunni Muslim-dominated governments, and that's leading to suspicion that it's really an alliance against Iran, the regional Shia Muslim leader. Well, this coalition is led by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and he's already made the headlines, being described as a revolutionary politician and a new hope for Saudi Arabia. He's even leading the race to top Time magazine's Person of the Year's readers' poll. Murgazdiev now profiles the man behind Saudi Arabia's rapidly shifting sands.
He is the herald of the Saudi Arab Spring, the leading candidate for the Person of the Year on Times magazine's website, a new hope for Saudi Arabia.
The Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, he said in many occasions that Saudis should dream big and there is no limits for our ambition.
The Saudi Crown Prince is one of the very few people who could take on the power of the religious conservatives in Saudi Arabia.
Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, has a plan to transform not just the Saudi economy, but the Saudi society.
Of course, the media has a history of fawning over incoming Saudi kings. Take the New York Times, 1953. Saudi Arabia's new king is progressive, not as autocratic as his father, they write. 10 years later, NYT hails his successor as a social reformist. Oh, he did great things, lifted a ban on television, real liberal revolution. 1982, new king, new praise from the NYT, a leading figure in a progressive, modernizing faction. He then promptly blew the entire budget on guns and jailed the critics. Can't please everyone. Fast forward to 2017, and the New York Times delivers as always. Mohammed bin Salman is a young leader who is driving religious and economic reform. Again, moderate, maybe, by Saudi standards.
King Salman, with his young crown prince, a 32-year-old leader, pushing against this anti-corruption drive. It did raise some eyebrows because on the same weekend they introduced the anti-corruption committee. He came down like a hammer against some prominent business people. 3
weeks ago, he arrested 11 princes, 4 former ministers, and dozens of other well-to-dos over corruption, or maybe corruption. Regardless, they've now agreed, or maybe agreed, to give up 100 billion of their ill-gotten gains.
Some say he's in a rush to take power from his father. Others argue Mohammed bin Salman is on a path to reform Saudi Arabia.
If reform means jailing everyone until they give you $100 billion, this guy's a real liberal champ. It won't have won him many friends, though, in this way, embarrassing so many powerful people. And his promise of reform won't make the very religious majority happy either. He's caught between a bunch of religious zealots and a bunch of humiliated elites. But if he treats his countrymen like this, what hope is there for his neighbors? Let's not forget, this same moderate prince launched an invasion of Yemen, which has killed and is killing thousands and thousands of innocents, causing untold suffering. He's all but lost in Syria. Pro-Saudi jihadists there are outmatched. Will he go for round 2? Or perhaps he'll target the region's new Hitler, as he is called, Iran's supreme leader. Pundits are now claiming that he'll either win everything or fail spectacularly. Or he could do what every single previous king did, which is not a lot. Like uncle, like father, like son.
Well, at the same time, Saudi Arabia's passed a new counter-terrorism law, but Human Rights Watch is worried that the law's definition of terrorism is too vague. For example, for portraying a king or crown prince in, quote, a manner that brings religion or justice into disrepute could land a person in jail for up to 10 years. Gregory Copley from the International Strategic Studies Association says the Saudi royal might not be the reformer he appears to be.
Prince Mohammed bin Salman is not what you'd call a moderate leader. Crown Prince Mohammed is not any more or less extreme than his father, King Salman, is on Yemen and on the issues in Syria and Iraq and so on. He knows that he has to move very, very quickly if he is to save Saudi Arabia from its impending economic and strategic disaster. So he will not be moderate. He cannot afford to be moderate. The question is, will his plan work, and will he inspire, in fact, a degree of backlash which might topple his grasp for the throne itself, and will Saudi Arabia survive that?